Hello, my name is Mike, and in this video you join me in the 2020 Volvo V60 Cross Country. Before I say anything else, I'm just going to say that wagons are cool. Take a look at this. And also this. And perhaps this. Right? Wagons are cool. But is this one any good? Well, let's go for a drive and find out. The V60 Cross Country is a higher riding version of the standard V60, which was redesigned last year. You get about just over 8 inches of ground clearance with this cross country, but unlike the standard V60, you only have one engine option. Here in this one, you only get the T5 engine, which is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with 250 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. It's not the most powerful engine in Volvo's lineup. Actually, in fact, it's the least powerful engine in Volvo's lineup. But in a wagon like this, I'm okay with that. This is not meant to be a canyon carving super sport wagon. That's the T8 V60 Polestar engineered version, which, by the way, I did review. You can find the link in the video description. This cross country is not meant to be that. It's meant to be more of a family hauler that you go into the mountains for a hike and you go on some dirt roads, not have to worry about a low ground clearance. Actually, speaking of ground clearance, this actually has a little bit more than some SUVs. So in that regards, it can probably go deeper into the woods than some SUVs can. And while this is the least powerful engine in Volvo's lineup, 250 horsepower is actually quite a bit by modern day standards even. It's more than enough power for everyday use. However, fuel economy may not be the greatest. On paper it is, but in real life it's a little bit tougher to get those fuel economy numbers. It's rated for 7.7 liters per 100 kilometers on a highway and 10.8 liters per 100 kilometers in a city. During my time with the car, I've actually been averaging around 11.1 liters per 100 kilometers. And that did involve a tiny bit of highway, but mostly city driving. So it's kind of hard, at least for myself, to reach that 10.8 target. Mated to the engine is an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, if I had made this video in 2015, I'd say that the transmission was pretty good. But right now, in 2020, the transmission just doesn't really cut it anymore when you compare it against BMW's 8-speed or Mercedes-Benz's 9-speed automatics. This transmission is slow to change gears by modern standards, and it's even slower if you take over the shifting duties with the gear selector. It is smooth though, but just not quick. Around corners, the V60 Cross Country will understeer. As I said before, it's not meant to drive as fast as possible around corners. That's the job of the Polestar engineered V60. But the steering in the cross country is direct and responsive with a moderate amount of weight, but not so much in the way of actual feel. The cabin of the V60 is very quiet, for the most part. Driving through a city center, on a highway, or even on a dirt track, wind and road noise is well subdued. But when the engine revs beyond 3,000 RPMs, that's when it starts to really intrude into the cabin, and it's not a pleasant sound. This is probably the worst sounding 4-cylinder on the market today. In the front seats, it's just like any other Volvo. There's plenty of room for taller occupants, just like myself at 6'4". I have loads of leg space, loads of headroom. Granted, I did have to lower my seat all the way down, but still plenty of headroom. And, well, let's just address the elephant in the room, the plaid seats. Plaid, 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 plaid. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but I'll admit, they look pretty cool. I mean, when's the last time you saw them? Unless you're a Volkswagen Golf owner, I think the GTI still has them as an option. However, if you don't like these seats, you can get it with full leather, the traditional black or white or even tan leather. For the back seats, there still is enough space. Granted, this isn't the biggest cross country that you can get. You can still get the V90, which is a little bit bigger than this one. Looks exactly the same, but it's just longer. And I'm okay with the room back there. Sure, I'm not the most comfortable at 6'4", but I'm okay for shorter road trips. And of course, there's also all of this light because of the panoramic sunroof that extends all the way to the back. And also the white really bounces the light off, so it's very airy and roomy in here. As for the rest of the interior, it's exactly the same as every other Volvo that's on the market right now. Very simplistic in its design and very few physical buttons. If you want to change something, you have to do it through the infotainment screen, or you can use voice controls, although it's very limited to what it can actually do. Yes, you can change the temperature and the radio station, for example, but beyond that, you do have to dig in through the menus and the sub-menus and the sub-sub-menus just to change something. And as I've said in previous Volvo reviews, I do like their limited use of plastics. For example, the center console on other manufacturers is usually made out of plastic, just all of it plastic. But what I like that Volvo did is actually raise the carpet up, and it doesn't look as cheap as if it were full plastic. As for cargo capacity, the V60 Cross Country is pretty similar to its SUV counterparts. 658 liters is how much cargo you'll have with the rear seats up, and 1,441 liters if you fold those rear seats down. Although the V60 Cross Country is only available in one trim, it can be equipped with 2 packages and a few standalone optional features. Realistically though, you only really need the Premier package as it contains features that would be used often by yourself and your passengers. Some of these features include 4-zone climate control, heated rear seats, navigation, blind spot sensors, heated wiper blades, heated steering wheel, and hands-free tailgate. Best of all, it's only a 2,600 Canadian dollar option for all of those extra features. On the outside, the Cross Country basically looks like the standard V60 wagon, but with a taller ride height and some plastic protection around the wheel arches and lower portion of the doors and bumpers. Despite the plastics though, it still looks like a premium vehicle. Trying to look as cool as this wagon looks. Is it working? No, I don't think so. Anyway, what do I think of the 2020 Volvo V60 Cross Country? Well, like I said at the start of the video, I think wagons are cool, and this one is just as cool. It starts at $48,900 Canadian, and it can be spec'd up all the way to just around $57,000 Canadian. It is a lot of money, but this is a luxury station wagon, and if you look at SUVs with the same features as this, then the price is actually in the same ballpark. So should you consider a station wagon like this one over an SUV? I think you definitely should, because if you want to be unique and different than all the other people who buy just random SUVs, then this is the one to go for. It has the same practicality as an SUV, it has the same capabilities as most SUVs, it has the same features within the same ballpark price range, but most importantly, it's unique and different. And I think that's what is most appealing about the Volvo V60 Cross Country. If you want to know more about the 2020 Volvo V60 Cross Country, I wrote a comprehensive review of it over on my website. You can find the link in the video description. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next car or truck, or probably be a SUV next time. Thanks again. Take care.